Ooh.
Woo! Oh, that noise.
Oh my God, it's coming already. We'd love to see it. Oh, I can't hear you, Gabby. Mm-mm. Now you're on mute. Hi, everyone. I think Gabby's trying to
There we
figure
go.
out
Is it
her.
working?
Oh, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, good. What the heck was that? Okay. Um, let me know if you can hear both of us, because
Yeah.
that's important.
Because it might also just be me. Let me see. Let me check YouTube and see if I can hear you. I'll mute
Don't want to be
myself.
on mute in the middle of all the roasting. Okay. Okay, Mike says he can hear us, so
Yeah, I can hear us too. I checked on YouTube. Oh my
okay, cool.
gosh. Wow.
Okay, cool. So, what's up? Today we are here to discuss The Wrong Family by Taryn
Yep.
Fisher, and I'm
I
joined by
listened to
the
the
lovely
audio.
Chanelle.
Hi, everyone.
Why don't you just start by like introducing yourself, talking a little bit about your channel?
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Chanelle, and my channel is Chanelle Time. I make videos on books, obviously, but I also do a lot of videos on movies and TV shows, and sometimes I make stuff on K-pop content. So
Yeah.
if you love like literary fiction, romance, and thrillers, you should definitely come watch my videos. I like
Yeah.
plug. Yeah, but
Amazing.
that's about it for me and my content.
Yes, I love your movie content like so much.
That's
I
thank
always look
you.
forward to when you do like movie videos. I'm like, yes,
I watch so many movies.
yeah, you do. All right. So yeah, so today we are here to discuss The Wrong Family, which is our buddy read for this month. And this book is a thriller, as we all know, because this is a thriller book club. So um why don't like do you want to just describe like what this book is kind of like generally about for people that might not know?
Mhm. So the Wrong Family is basically about this couple that lives in like I think they live in like Washington area, and they're
Hmm.
kind of like a rich couple, and they are sort of like not really having a good marriage. And there's this older woman who is basically trying to figure out what's going on with the family because she's trying to discover some things. And so in the book, we're just following the older woman, following this couple, and trying to essentially uncover all of their juicy secrets while also not getting caught. But yeah, I
Mm,
guess that's like the entire summary of the book or what it was supposed to be.
yeah. No, that was a really good summary. I was like, oh, it's like about a married couple, like older woman, okay, yeah. So why don't you put, if you're watching, why don't you put a heart emoji in the comments if you have read the book and you're here to like hear all the spoilers and all the deets. And then why don't you just let us know if you're here because you haven't read it yet? Because I'm curious to know how many of you have actually read the book because we will jump into spoilers, but I do want the beginning to be a little bit spoiler free for those of you that might have not read it yet. Okay, wow, we're getting a lot of hearts.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, cool.
cool.
Seems like a lot of you did read it. I'm so sorry, by the way, that I made you read it.
Honestly, this is like the best. I just personally feel like this is a good book to discuss, especially if you didn't like it, because then people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, same." Because I already saw some comments about Juno, and I'm like, "Let's get to her."
Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it seems like most of you have read it, so that's pretty cool. So why don't you, if you're watching, tell us your rating out of 5. Like, what did you give this book out of 5? And then me and Chanelle will also talk about our ratings. I'll have you start because I'm curious to know like what actual rating you gave this.
Okay, so I give the book 1 star. It
One
was
star?
like it was like a solid 2 for the entire time, and then we got like towards the very end, and I was like, So I'm sitting like a 1, 1.5, but it's probably gonna be a 1 because I'm not feeling generous.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Damn. Okay. Yeah. I think my final rating is gonna be like a 2 star. I think
Mhm.
because like, well, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it because like the first 100 pages, I was like, this is so boring. Oh my god, nothing's happening. And so I was like, this is
Right.
suck and whatever. But then after part one, I was like, okay, it's kind of interesting. Like I was kind of starting to enjoy where it was going. So then I was like, okay, maybe it could be like up to like a 3 star almost because I was getting really invested. But then like the ending was just like, what the fuck? So
Yeah,
the ending ruined it.
I understand what you mean too because I like restarted this book so many times like I started reading the book at the beginning of February. And throughout the month I kept restarting it because the beginning parts were so boring. And then
Yeah,
we got to like the very like middle. I was like, okay. And then like we get to the very last chunk and I was like, no. And I think the thing that made it still not that much of an enjoyable read is because I don't enjoy the way Taryn Fisher writes, like the
yeah,
way she describes women.
yeah,
I feel like something about the way she describes women just never makes it an enjoyable read for me. So
yeah. Just the way, like, yeah, her writing in general, it's just like not very good.
yeah.
I don't know
I don't
what it is.
I don't even know if it's like not good per se, but it's just like off-putting. Like some of
Mhm.
the ways that like when she was describing some of the characters in the book, I was like, why do we need to know this specific thing about their body? Like
Yeah,
this, like when she was describing somebody's boobs and then she's describing somebody, I'm like, we definitely did not need this specific thing that you just said here. You
yeah,
could have left that out. So
yeah,
maybe it's
that's
just
so true.
but her descriptions are always very strange.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what I was gonna say too, like how she wrote the older character. It was like
Mhm.
she was like so old. Like, I don't know. I was like, she's
Yeah,
only like what, 67? I was like, that's not that old.
yeah,
Like, that's near my parents' age. So I'm like, that's not that old, you know?
yeah. I just like this is a good point too because when I first started reading the book, I thought Juno was younger
Yeah,
than like I thought she was like in her 40s or 50s. And then
yeah,
when we get to some other parts, I know we're in the spoiler-free part, so I won't say anything else right now, but when we got to some other parts, she started describing Juno, like Juno was like 104. And I was this woman is definitely not 104. Why why are we like
so
here,
true.
you know? So
I mean, yeah, I do understand she had lupus, so it was probably like, she was aging probably, yeah, like she had chronic pain.
get me
But still, I mean, like, yeah, it was just like the way she was written, just it seemed almost like, I don't know. It just, yeah.
it just was odd. I think that's a good point to make about the descriptions because maybe that might have been why, but I just noticed the writing because this is the same way that she was writing in The Wives. Like
Mhm.
I vividly remembered the way she writes. And so when I was reading this, I was like, not again. So that might be a reason, but based off of The Wives, I was like, I'm seeing way too many. And obviously that's her writing style, so that's how she's gonna write. But
Yeah.
yeah.
What rating did you give The Wives, just out of curiosity?
I gave The Wives, I think a 2.5. And
Oh,
that's
okay.
because while I was reading The Wives, for a major chunk of it, I did like the book. I just
Mhm.
didn't like her writing, but I liked the book. I thought we were gonna get like a really John Tucker Must Die type of vibe. Like I thought it was
Yeah.
gonna be these women like banding together and doing this, but it wasn't that. So it was
Yeah.
mostly the ending that made me hate The Wives.
Yeah,
But
same. I
I
know, that
still
was
think
like,
it's a better book than this.
yeah, I know. I do think The Wives is better than this, but I do think her writing is like decent until the ending. I feel like she doesn't know how to end her books, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I
That's
don't
always the issue.
there's sometimes you just don't mesh with an author's writing. And I think in the thriller genre, like once you find an author whose writing you do blend well with, it's always like a good time because you know what you're gonna expect. Like people who read Gillian Flynn, like going into her characters are gonna be a certain way.
Yeah.
Like you're not going there to be friends with them.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I know it's interesting too because I do actually like Taryn Fisher's like more romance books. Like some of her romance books are some of my favorites, but like in the
Mhm.
thriller genre, I just don't, yeah, I don't connect with her writing very much at all.
I
So,
haven't read any of her romance books. I honestly thought she was just a thriller author, so that's
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So, should we just like jump into some spoilers or like
Yeah. You go first.
yeah.
Because
Cuz I feel like yeah, we just need to like jump into like straight into talking about all the issues with this
Mhm.
book if that's cool with everyone. Okay. So, yeah, okay. So I guess what was like your biggest like moment where you were like, "Ooh, I don't know about this anymore." Like what was the moment where you were like, "This is going to be a 1 star for me?"
Honestly, let me see. I think the parts, it was like very much in the beginning. Like when
Yeah.
we were at the parts where we're kind of learning about, I forgot, was it Ginny? I can't remember the wife, the couple. Like when we were learning about the couple, and then we get to the part where we find out that Juno is like coming into their house,
Oh
and
yeah.
like I was like, wait, because at the beginning of the book, for some reason, I thought she was like a renter. Because
Yeah.
remember how they were talking about how they had this, like, they had made an extra living space in the house, and so, like, somebody was gonna live there. So I thought she was, like, living there. But then the parts where she's, like, hiding in the closet and
Mhm.
she's, like, trying to avoid the maintenance man, and then there was a part where she, like, took off all her clothes and was
Yeah.
just standing there. I was like, I was just very confused about what all these things were supposed to tell us about Juno's character because I
Yeah.
feel like her character is very confusing. So I would have to say it was the part where I found out that Juno wasn't actually a tenant. That's
Mhm.
what I was looking for. That I was like, no.
Yeah, that's interesting because that was the first part of the book where I actually was intrigued. I was like, "Wait, what? Like, you're kidding?"
Hmm.
Because I was like, "Oh shit! Like, she's actually not like supposed to be there." Like, this comment, oh my god, like it was
Yeah,
totally like Parasite vibes for a second. I was
yeah,
like, "Wait, what?"
yeah. I was
Like,
gonna say that it gave me Parasite vibes,
yeah,
but it was so hard because when I don't know if you have watched Parasite, you just
yeah,
yeah. So like in Parasite, you're like really connected and invested in the characters and their
yeah,
life, like you want the best for them. But this, I was like, I don't know anything about Juno except the weird references to her body that this author has given us.
yeah,
So like,
yeah. That's true.
you know,
Mm-hmm. I just thought it was like the first like interesting thing that happened in the story that I was like, oh wait, this is actually like going somewhere interesting. Because I thought like in the beginning, I was like, Winnie's chapters are so boring. I was like, oh my god, she's literally just complaining about
yeah.
like her husband and like all their shit like all the time. Like I was just so bored. I was like dozing off. Like I couldn't even pay attention to her chapters. And then when it was finally revealed that like Juno was like actually there and they didn't know about her, I was like, wait, what? Like she's not like renting from them?
Yeah.
And then that was kind of like intriguing. And then like I liked how like when we got to part 2, I liked how we got to hear kind of about how like what happened with Juno, how she was kind of like watching them and then how she would be like, you know, just like lingering around, like seeing like when she could enter the house and then like talking about how he would like take food from them. It was so like Parasite to me in that way, but like obviously not nearly as good because Parasite is fucking god tier.
Yeah. Parasite is like a perfect movie. I can't think
Yeah.
of anything wrong with that movie. It's so good.
Yeah. No, yeah, like one of the
Yeah.
best movies I've ever seen. But
I definitely like agree with the people who are saying that Juno not being a renter was a good twist. It just confused me. I was like,
yeah.
what? What? Like,
Yeah.
we need to like kind of get invested in her first for this twist to kind of matter, you
Yeah.
know?
No, that's so true. But I kind of liked how like after we found out about that, how Juno started
Mhm.
to kind of like mess with Winnie. I really
Yeah.
liked the parts of the book where she would like she would check out that book on like child abduction and then
Yeah, that was
she would be like,
so
yeah, like the way she was like fucking with her. I was like, this is awesome. Like I loved that part of the book.
yeah, no, I really liked that was honestly one of the parts of the books that I will say I did like was
Mhm.
Juno's ability to know Winnie well
Mhm.
enough to be like, this is the thing that's gonna like set her off. It reminded me a lot of Gone Girl,
Yeah,
like how Amy constantly knew what was gonna set things off. So I was like,
exactly.
okay, I kind of like this. I'm
Yeah.
understanding. And then it was like, JK.
Yeah. I know, that's what I mean. That's why I feel like this book was so disappointing because it had potential to be interesting and
Yeah.
like that whole thing with like Juno really like fucking with them in their own house and them kind of trying to be like what's going on and like not knowing like
Mhm.
that was really cool. And then I liked the whole idea of like trying to figure out if Winnie had kidnapped this child. I was like,
Yeah.
what the heck? Like, what is this? And I didn't really like the way that that situation got resolved either. Like,
That whole situation, okay, so the point where things got like really, really, really ridiculous to me was after Juno had contacted that girl's mother and
yeah,
was like, your daughter like died and all this, like that was like so heartbreaking. Like that, I
Yeah.
think that specific portion was the portion where I was like, okay, this is like really not traumatic, but like I just feel like that, like imagine getting a phone call about your child and then
Yeah.
like this person's like, oh, here's an email. Like I just felt like Juno's character should have, like, based off of the fact that she was so sneaky and so like methodical, should have done that better, you know what I mean? And then like
Yeah.
the mom just showing up and being like, my grandson's here, and then her brother, like
I
what did her
know.
brother have to do with anything?
Oh my God, I know. No, like that was the exact moment that this book derailed for me. Is as soon as like, because I didn't mind the scene when the mom is like confronting Winnie, being like, "Where's my
Mhm,
grandson?" I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I thought it was
mhm.
interesting, but then as soon as Nigel walks in and fucking, he's like dripping blood, and he's like Dakota, like whatever, and then he falls to the ground and like dies, and Dakota's like standing there with like a gun or something. I was like, "Wait, what the fuck?" Like, it just
Right.
completely went off the rails of like where the story was going, and I was like, "What?" Like Dakota wasn't even that much in the book. Like, I
Yeah,
was so
his character
confused.
was like barely in the book, and then to then make him be the person who like kills her husband and the
Yeah,
person who's like coming to commit all these murders, it was so strange and
yeah,
unbelievable because the only thing we knew about Dakota, yeah, like the only thing we knew about Dakota while reading the book was that he was an alcoholic who was kind of trying to get his life together, right? Like he had like the
yeah,
wife who was like gonna leave him and his kids, and it was like a really like sad and scary situation. So
yeah,
I was kind of like rooting for him to like kind of fix his life, you know what I mean? Because there was a
yeah,
lot going on with his character, and I wanted, like, I don't want to be like, oh, I wanted the best for him, but I wanted his life to kind of go well. So then for him to
yeah,
be the person who, for the sake of the plot, is the killer didn't make any sense. And then Juno just
yeah.
disappearing.
I know. Like, the none of the ending made sense to me at all. Like, and I know some people were saying, like this, it's such lazy writing to make Dakota the evil
Yes.
character because of schizophrenia. Like,
Yes, I was gonna bring this up too. Like when they, and the thing too, like when his wife kept being like, he's crazy and he's seeing all of
yeah,
these people, like he's hearing things. I was like, first of all, I'm pretty sure the person he's hearing is Juno, so he knew Juno was in the house. I feel like that's what the
mhm,
author was trying to convey. But at
yeah,
the same time, I just think that like thriller authors who do the whole, this person has a mental illness and that's why they're a killer. Like I know that the author of when she knew him or before she knew him, that book, and then Taryn Fisher has done this before in The Wives. Like
mhm,
she did this in The Wives, and I just feel like it's very lazy and it's also very harmful
mhm.
because you can't just be like someone's schizophrenic, therefore they killed a bunch of people. You know?
Yeah. Like the excuse was so stupid. It was like the way she wrote it. It was like she was trying to blame it on his mental illness. Like that's why he
Mhm.
did it. Because he
Exactly.
literally had no reason to do any of this. Like
Like
I
what
kept
does he
writing why.
gain?
Yeah,
He doesn't gain anything by killing those people.
exactly. And like his excuse, like I don't even remember what he said, but I think he said something like, "Oh, well, you always like chose Nigel over me," or something like that. And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like it's her husband." You know, like it's just I don't know. It just
It
didn't
just
make any
made,
sense.
yeah, no, I agree with you. Like it just made it seem like if somebody has schizophrenia, then they're just gonna like do all these horrible things, and that's it. No
Exactly.
matter what, like that's just gonna be the conclusion. And I just don't like, it's a thriller, sure, but I don't think it's fair.
Yeah.
Like it's not fair to portray people like that. Like it's like this is a new book. Like there's no excuse. This is a brand, like this is a new book, right? Like it just came out like last year, right? I think
Yeah.
it's like her
Yeah.
newest novel. So I'm like,
Yeah.
why do you feel like, I feel like thriller authors need to sit down and look themselves in the mirror and think, why do I feel like I need to portray people with mental illnesses this way? Why is
Yeah.
that a necessity in my story? Like, look at Gillian Flynn. I don't think she does that, but her characters are horrible.
Yeah.
Like, she
Exactly.
doesn't
That's
do
what I
the
mean.
twist of like, here's a mental illness, you know?
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like you don't need to villainize someone with a mental illness just to make your
Right.
plot twist work or whatever, you
Yeah.
know? And that too, like the whole fact that he like not only that he just killed Nigel, but the fact that he just went on this like killing spree, like
Yeah.
when he just turned around and shot that girl Terry like for no fucking reason.
It doesn't make any sense
Yeah, I was
at
like, what?
all.
is happening? And then also, like, the ending, I was kind of confused by, like, I don't know what was happening, but do you understand, like, why Juno would have, like, left her closet while all this was going on? Because I was like, what are you doing? Like, she was, like, hiding in the closet, and she heard, like, commotion, and so she had to go and, like, look, and then she, like, got involved in it, and I'm like, why wouldn't you just stay in the closet? Like, you're safe,
You
you
know
know?
what? I have two things that I just started thinking about. One, because of all the parasite mentions, the
Mhm.
fact that Juno went out of the closet and was getting involved, I'm like, I wonder if this author has watched Parasite like
I know, like,
500 times
yeah.
because Juno being in that closet and then coming out while everything is going downhill reminds me a lot of the
The ending.
party scene in
Mhm.
Parasite. And then the ending when her body is like found, right, with like a letter or something that's like
Yeah,
it was the wrong family, also reminds me a lot of Parasite. And
yeah,
like towards the ending, which I won't like spoil if no one's seen it, but you know what I'm talking about?
yeah,
Like it
yeah.
just feels not like she copied the movie, but
Like, she was
it's giving
inspired.
the energy. It's giving like I'm very heavily inspired. It's giving me a
Mhm.
lot of copy paste, but it's
Yeah,
not making sense.
yeah. No, totally. That's why I thought, I was like, this totally reminds me of Parasite, but, like, obviously not as good, but it's almost like the author could have been inspired by
Yeah.
Parasite.
It's like, can I borrow your homework? Yeah, don't make it look too obvious.
Exactly.
Exactly what that reminded me of.
Okay, I guess she left the closet because she was looking for Sam, which I guess makes sense, but
That
also,
kind of
like,
makes sense.
I don't know though.
It makes sense, but it also doesn't because she, like, the entire time when we were reading this, I didn't feel that she actually cared about Sam. Like, I
Mhm.
felt like she would just, like, missed her kids and then also wanted to expose this family. So I don't
Mhm.
know that this character that is so, like, I gotta hide, I gotta hide, I gotta hide, would, like, come out of that space because she's worried about Sam who isn't even there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Sam was there at all.
Yeah, he wasn't, right? Because I thought he had run away as soon as that girl, like, Terry came in and she was like, "Where's my grandson?" Didn't he, like, run away during that scene or something? He, like, they said he left out the back or something?
Yeah, he, like, wasn't there.
Yeah. I know, like,
Oh,
Sam cereal.
yeah, I'm, like, seeing a lot of people talking about the author seeing Parasite. There's just too many, like, too even the, like, the part about was there, like, a part where she peed or something? Like, it just
Mhm.
gave me there's just so many parallels between this book and Parasite, and I'm not happy about it,
I
clearly.
know.
I
Yeah.
as a Parasite watcher, as, like, a 3 time on my 4th watch, I
Yeah.
am not happy about this.
Dude, same. She was probably like, "Oh, Parasite won Best Picture. This is what the people want. I'll write a
Yeah,
book." That's like Parasite.
yeah, and the thing is, like, Parasite is not the kind of movie you can just copy into a book because there's so much nuance in that movie, like, there's so many discussions, so
Mhm.
much that just, like, no,
Yeah,
no.
that's what I mean, like, she can't even come close to Parasite, like, Parasite's too epic.
Right. I do think, like, especially since you like read her romance novels, do you think that like there is hope for her as a thriller author? Because I'm kind of wondering because I'm like maybe a writing class,
Yeah,
like maybe
well,
like
yeah,
like
it's
a
weird.
lesson.
She does have this other book called Bad Mommy that was, like, her first thriller that she came out with, like, a long time ago, and I loved that book, like, I'm pretty sure I gave it, like, 5 stars.
Mhm.
But then she, like, The Wives was, like, the first book that she published with, like, a huge publisher. So,
Mhm.
like, after she went to, like, the big publisher, it was like everything changed in her writing. I don't know, like, because Bad Mommy was, like, published as, like, an independent novel, I'm pretty sure. She self-published it or
Mhm.
something. So that one I actually really liked. Yeah, like, Bad Mommy was, it was really good. It was kind of a
Mhm.
similar situation where it was like it was this girl that was getting obsessed with her next door neighbors, and she was,
Mhm.
like, convinced that their daughter was her daughter.
Oh, it kind of sounds like
Um,
this book, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, it does in a way. But it was
It sounds a
actually
little
really
bit.
interesting.
I wonder if maybe like she got like a different editor that was like,
I
I
know.
think the people want to see this.
I know.
You
I
know what
don't
I mean?
know. Yeah, that's what I mean. So I don't know. But now that I'm, like, thinking about it, I'm like, God, like, was Bad Mommy good, or was I just like,
You're like,
because
I just
now that
love her books.
Yeah, because now that we've had the wives and this one, I'm like, maybe it wasn't good. Like maybe I'm just remembering it weird.
No, I mean, there are some books that are, I honestly believe, especially in the thriller genre, you can write books that have characters who are bad people and
Yeah.
still have it be a good book. You
Mm-hmm.
can have characters that are like complete, like the author who wrote Behind Her Eyes. That
Mm-hmm.
book is like the most shocking thing I've ever read in my entire life.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I had to sit down after reading it. I was like,
Yeah.
not this. Like,
I know.
you it was so good, but that book didn't have like likable characters. Neither does like any Gillian Flynn novel.
Mm-hmm.
Riley Sager usually doesn't have likable characters either. Like the thriller genre is filled with characters that people don't ever like. So I
Yeah.
feel you can write a thriller with somebody like Juno and somebody like Winnie and Winnie's husband and this entire story and
Yeah.
not have it boil down to like somebody is like has schizophrenia and so they like committed all these murders.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I think that's
Exactly this.
yeah. And I think that's exactly what's like so great about thrillers is that you don't have to like the characters. You know, I feel like that's one of the only genres
Mhm.
where it's okay to have really shitty characters, like
Yeah.
or at least characters that you don't agree with, because then
Mhm.
it's like it can still be a good book because I feel like in thrillers you're more into it for like the writing and like
Mhm.
plot twists and
And
things
the
like that. So
atmosphere and things like that. Yeah.
exactly. Hmm.
Yeah. No, 'cause I just read Dark Places, and I was like, I cannot stand a single person in this book, and I was like, 4 stars. like when I read
Yes.
Gone Girl, I was like, I hate every single person. 5 stars.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
you don't have to like. I just think there needs to be some discussion with these thriller authors.
Hmm.
Please, you do not have to say mentally ill equals evil. Like there
Hmm.
are people who want to read these books and like who want to enjoy these books and don't want to leave the book feeling like they're gonna be a harm to society just because. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I
Yeah.
ran
No.
straight to romance after reading that one. It's like,
Oh my gosh. Wasn't it interesting too? Like there was a part at the end that I was still kind of confused by because you know how like part of the ending was Juno like running out and she somehow like had a taser in her possession and she
Mhm.
like tased like Dakota to get away and stuff. I was so confused like what the heck was going on with Winnie during that whole scene? Like was she just unconscious or something? Like
See,
why wasn't
when I
she
was reading
there?
that part, I kind of, and I think I was wrong, but I speculated that Winnie was somehow involved and wanted her husband to die, like to be killed,
Oh.
because of the fact that she was scared that he was going to expose her. You remember how she was talking about
Oh.
how she ruined their marriage because of she took that baby and he had to help her. So
Yeah.
I feel because the entire time in the book she was like, "Oh my God, he's gonna tell everybody about what I did. He's gonna leave me." Like there was that fear. So I was like, did she like somehow convince her brother to do this? But then I
Yeah.
was like, but then if she convinced her brother to do this, then why did Taryn Fisher like write the whole like he's imagining things? He's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like very confusing. Like what is going on? Oh,
Yeah. I guess she was yeah, she was tied up in the other room, I guess. That makes sense.
and who tied her up?
I know. Well, Dakota tied her up, right? Like I thought he tied up like
While
every
he was chasing everyone? How did like one person tie up all of those people? That's
I don't know.
confusing.
Oh wait. Oh, the taser was from the junk drawer in the kitchen.
Oh, they just kept it there. Is that where people usually keep those things?
I know.
Not
I
me
don't
like decoding every single thing. I'm like,
know.
I don't know about that one.
Yeah. Oh, she thought she went to get a knife. Yeah, who keeps a taser in the kitchen? I don't know. Yeah.
Really strange. I feel like that's the last place you would expect. Like they have a child. What if he like didn't know what that was?
Exactly. Yeah. What? That's like so unsafe.
You know what?
Um,
Speaking of unsafe, Winnie and her whole vegetarian thing.
oh my
Not that
God.
vegetarianism is unsafe, but
I know.
I don't know why I said speaking of unsafe and then said Winnie, but speaking of unsafe, her parenting, that's the part that I was like, girl.
Yeah, the way she was like, she would get like mad, right? If
Yeah.
he like wanted to eat like meat or something.
Yeah, that was where I was going with my point. Like, I was like, what is going, because her husband hated being vegetarian. Like he
Yeah.
was, I don't know, the way he I feel like I remember him hating being vegetarian. And then Sam wanting to like get, was it a burger or something when they went out to eat that one time and she kept trying
Mhm.
to convince him to get something else. I was like, you're trying to bond with your son right now.
Yeah.
Just like, you know,
I know. Like let him like do what he wants like that. Yeah.
I'm like, as somebody who has been vegetarian, it's a different life. The energy, it's amazing. But like I was
Yeah.
like, this is not the time in this restaurant to be fighting with your son. Like you're so irritating.
Yeah. I know. I know. Winnie's character in general is like she drove me nuts this whole book.
She was like, I was like, if I was Sam, I would not want to be around you either. Cause like the dad seemed better. Like I just felt like just Sam and his dad, maybe because they didn't show that many interactions between the two of them. So I was like, it's definitely better over there.
Yeah.
When he just seemed, and then the fact when they like went to eat and they were like talking about the food thing. This is not me saying like meat is better than being vegetarian. I don't like, it doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
the discussion that they had, and then like she suddenly brought up like how she worked with homeless people,
Mhm.
and then because he got interested, she was like trying to craft a story. I was like, girl, this is the
Yeah.
bonding. Like, how about we not use, oh, I was helping the less fortunate as
I
like a
know.
way to like get your son to care about you. It was just very
Yeah. Exactly. And that whole thing with like Winnie's character and how she totally screwed over that girl Jocelyn or whatever.
yes,
Like what
yeah.
the fuck?
I was like,
Like
first of all, you got fired.
yeah. And like that girl Jocelyn like trusted you to like
I think
help her.
I think in the book, the one character that I felt the most for was Jocelyn because she
Mhm.
like in her time of need, she called the person who she thought she could trust,
Mhm.
and then that person like took her child from her and then just left her there. And it was
Yeah.
just so heartbreaking, like so incredibly heartbreaking to
Yeah.
then like hear about how her mom didn't believe her.
I
You know
know.
what I
What the
mean? I
fuck?
was like, this is so heartbreaking.
Yeah, that was awful to read about. And then like I was so confused because like she said it was like snowy and like whatever, and then she just drove and like got into a car accident and the baby died on impact or something. And I'm like, what?
It was very strange. Like, just I feel like if she genuinely cared for Jocelyn, she would have like taken her to a hospital and tried to help
Yeah.
her in that moment where she was like with her child and she was like, I need your help, like I need your help. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like it was just strange. And okay, I also saw somebody just comment about how Winnie hated working in her job, and I definitely agree. Yes,
Mhm.
this the entire time you could feel it. Winnie
Yeah.
reminds me of those people that go to like I'll just use like the people who like go on like mission trips and things and like just go there to take pictures with the people and then come back home and they're like, anyways,
Yeah.
that's what she reminded me of. Like she reminded me so much of people I went to like high school with that would
Yeah.
like be like, "Oh, you're from Africa? Like, do you want to see my pictures?"
Oh
What?
my God.
Like that's the vibe she gives me. It's like I know I would hate you. I
Yeah.
just
What the
trust
fuck?
her.
I know. Did they even say if they buried the baby? Like,
I think so.
because I
Cause
was so confused. I know.
didn't
And how is she?
I think her husband said something about burying the baby or putting the baby in a place where nobody would find the
Oh,
baby.
they put the baby in the crawl
That's
space.
so sad. Like I hate this couple so much.
I
There's
know.
so much that they could have done that they just didn't.
Yeah. I know. And like, do you think like I don't know if it was mentioned, but did Winnie leave Jocelyn because she thought Jocelyn was dead? Or did she know that she was just like passed out on like drugs or something when she saw her and the baby? Like, because did Winnie like assume that she was dead and that's why she took the baby? Or did she just like take it to like save it or
I
whatever?
think she knew that Jocelyn was alive because she
Yeah.
felt guilty about leaving Jocelyn there. Because I remember she said she could have called an ambulance to
Oh,
help Jocelyn rather than like, and then I think I also remember her saying that I don't know if this is just me having this memory, but her saying that she was calling hospitals and
mm-hmm.
seeing if Jocelyn had died recently. But
Oh,
she
okay.
took the baby because she was like, I just don't think this girl's going to be a good mother, which
Yeah,
is like,
that's
you literally took someone's child.
yeah, like that's not your choice to make.
in their moment of needing you and needing help, you just took
Yeah.
their child and left. That
Oh,
to me is unforgivable.
yeah.
Especially somebody like wasn't she her therapist?
Yeah, something like that.
Like, or a friend, like, somebody who like, she established this, like, "Oh, we're close friends, like, I'm here for you." She bought her hair dye so she could keep her hair in
Mhm.
a rainbow. Like, she did all these things, which I find extremely manipulative. Like, you're just using this girl to feed your savior mentality.
Yeah.
Like, you wanna seem like a good person who helps people, but you don't.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she was her caseworker, that's what it
Okay,
was.
that's what it
I couldn't
was.
remember what the word was that their relationship was. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
it's
thought
like
she did play the savior card. Yeah.
it's just terrible, like, I cannot think of a worse person than Winnie in this book.
Yeah,
It
I
it
know.
was horrible. She's like,
She
"I
is the
meant to
real
call
villain.
911, but somehow I drove all the way." Like, what do you mean somehow? Like, I mean, you could have been shocked, but, like, what about Jocelyn?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
That was so messed up though. Oh god. I know, and Winnie was struggling to get pregnant, and that's why she took the baby because she, like, saw an
Yeah,
opportunity.
I remember she was struggling because then after that she had Sam, and then she was like, "I'm gonna treasure him because of what I did with that other baby,"
Mhm.
which I find extremely ironic.
Yeah. I know, it's what? Um, where was this? Somebody made a comment that I somebody said, "What were your thoughts on the mask comment in the epilogue? Did it throw you off?" I'm not sure what that's referring to. Do you know what that
I don't remember that.
I know what mask comment. All I remembered about the ending was that they found I thought they just found Dakota's body with like a baby and that was it. And then the note said, I'm so sorry, or I was just trying to do the right thing or something. And I thought that note was left by Juno at the end,
I think
right?
they found Juno and Dakota.
Oh, they
I
found both.
don't know if it was a baby. I'm not
Oh,
sure. I think it was Juno and Dakota. Wait,
hmm.
was it? I
I know.
think so. But I don't think it could have been a baby because at
Yes,
this point Sam was like already a teenager, right? So,
baby bones,
oh,
baby bones during Dakota and Juno's bustle on the cross. Oh,
oh my gosh.
I was so confused at the end. Oh, there was a COVID reference at the end. Oh, what?
There was a COVID reference at the end of the book. And I was
I
like, we
missed
don't
it.
need this. Not this, including everything else she's already done.
I know what. It said there was a mask shortage. I must have
Oh yeah,
missed
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember this. Wait, I don't remember the mask part, but I remember the COVID reference part, and I was like, why, why? Like this book is already bad enough.
Yeah,
Why?
what?
The reference I think was to masks. They said like there was some sort of virus plaguing the world and masks, like something like that. That was the
What
phrasing. I was like,
what the heck?
okay.
I missed it.
I'm personally for the let's let's keep the COVID out,
I know
like
what?
especially not in this book. Like we already have way too much.
That's so weird. Yeah, why would that even be brought up?
She was trying to just remind
Oh,
us that this is in 2020.
yeah, I guess. What the fuck?
I just can't think. I think me and this author, we are not going to be friends.
No.
Me and her writing, absolutely not.
I know, how did Juno actually die then? Because I thought, yeah, she killed Dakota, but then what, she just died because of all of her like medical complications?
This just keeps getting worse and worse. I really hope that's not the conclusion to Juno's story, that she didn't just like curl up and die,
I know,
because
but
that's
like,
just even worse.
yeah, because like, how would she have died? Because you know, the whole book she kept saying like, I can feel my death coming because she was like getting worse and worse and whatever. So I
Mhm.
think it was trying to imply that she was just gonna like die at the end, you know? Yeah, she went back into the crawl space to die near Dakota's body. I don't get it.
Was it like her guilt, maybe?
I don't know. And she couldn't have killed herself because the gun was in Dakota's mouth.
So are we just like expected to believe that she just like died right then and there and was like, okay. And
Yeah,
maybe it's because she felt like she had already lost so much. Because like, remember how her husband like doesn't talk to her and her kids are not like with her anymore, things like that.
yeah.
So like maybe that's why. But I'm still like extremely confused. I just feel like if I was to sum this book up, I would say that this is the book that we didn't need
Mm-hmm.
because it's just another, and the fact that the mask and the COVID reference, like the COVID reference in this book, first of all, tells me that this is like very recently written, right? Because just because
Yeah,
something's published in 2020 doesn't mean like they might have been like working on it for a long time or whatever, right? But
yeah.
you're telling me that Taryn Fisher wrote this book 2020, whatever, just got published, and she's still doing this like mental illness discussion,
Exactly.
right? And that like really bothers me in stories. It just absolutely does. I feel like it's because like I don't know, it just bothers me a lot. So there's that, and it's 2020. And then
Yeah,
we have the whole storyline of Winnie basically using homeless people and people who need her for her own gain to make herself look good. Which, okay, that's like it's a thriller, so she's gonna be a horrible person likely. But we
yeah,
didn't need we didn't need this part. And then Sam, like her son, who's supposed to be this wonderful, magnificent, like his character was super bland.
yeah.
Like he was just there to be like, oh yeah, I have these really cool shirts that my mom might have taken to a thrift store. Okay.
Yeah. I know that scene was so random. They were like, "Let's get hot
Yeah.
dogs." I'm like, "What?"
That scene was like very odd. I was like, why? Like, okay. I was like, not Sam going up to be his mother.
I
Like,
know.
okay.
Dude, watch Taryn Fisher in her like next thriller. Watch her like use COVID as like a plot twist or something, like somehow.
Yeah. Like, I like, what is her next book gonna be about? Because I don't like, is it just gonna continue? Like, aren't you supposed to be like getting better as you
Yeah.
write? You know?
Yeah, you would think. It feels like her older stuff I really enjoyed, and now these newer releases are just like
Right.
so bad.
Like if I read a book that's like published a while ago, like because there are a lot of discussions happening now and that happened in 2020, 2019, stuff like that that weren't happening, for example, like in 2008. There's a lot of
Hmm.
discussions that people are having now that just weren't a thing like
Yeah.
publicly back then. So like if this was like maybe a 2008 novel or 2010, 12, 13, even 14 and 15, maybe
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, whatever, didn't enjoy it. But like 2020 even got a COVID reference in there.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Oh my God. Fisher's next tagline: COVID causes mental illness, which then causes someone to kill people.
Like, that's basically what she's trying to. I can't even with this
Oh my
author.
God. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's true. The way she was trying to portray COVID as some annoying, like just an annoying thing that just happens to get in your way and now you can't like it's just so irritating. Oh my gosh. When
What the
people are
heck?
actually suffering from this virus.
Yeah, what? I need to reread that part at the end.
She gives me that vibe. Like the way she said it, like the way she wrote that part, I was like, girl, we
Oh,
need if
jeez.
you're gonna put this in here, we need more than a line. Like we need more than like this is annoying,
Yeah,
you know?
what? Yeah,
So
I need to reread that ending. I totally missed that part.
I remember the COVID part and feeling like, well, that was like an unnecessary one-liner.
Yeah, that's super messed up.
So but I didn't remember the mask part. But I will say people who are guessing that she might be against masks, I,
They're probably onto something.
I'm like, you might be onto something. We'll have to see in the second novel.
Jeez.
So,
Oh
oh, it's at
man.
the top page of the second. It's at the top of the second page of the epilogue. Okay.
Top of the second page. That is
I love how the people reading with your book club are like so good at pinpointing where things are. I'm like, I love
right.
this, Gabby.
It's at the top of the second page. Oh yeah, there was a mask shortage. Go figure. Some virus people were shitting their pants about. What?
Wait,
I
no,
didn't
it
even like.
does give that vibe.
No
Wait.
fucking way. And then he says
Oh,
George found a bandana from his wife's accessory drawer and wrapped it
not a
around his nose and mouth.
bandana.
What? How did I miss this?
Not a bandana.
And the way she just says that, like some virus people were shitting their pants about. Are you kidding me? That's so insensitive. Oh my
Dude,
god, wow.
I would hate for anybody who has like got the virus or has lost any family members to
To read it?
read something like that
You know
and to
what?
just see her be like some virus. Like, are
I
you kidding
know.
me?
And like a virus that we're still currently battling right now.
Like, I missed that part completely. Like, because I remember her mentioning that, but I did not remember her like saying that.
I know what?
That is extremely offensively written. Like, she
I
could have
know
just been
that's
like she could have just been like a virus that people have been discussing or a virus
yeah.
that has like current like people are talking about. Like, she didn't have to say that.
Yeah, that's not okay at all. Like that's so shitty to say that. I know. I feel like I need to drop my rating to 1 star just because of that. Like that just
Yeah.
pissed me off.
Like, it just feels like she's like, anyways, people are annoying.
I
Like,
know.
girl, this is
What the heck?
definitely wow. I did not remember it. Wait, somebody said it came out in December.
Yeah, it came out in December
Wow.
last year.
It's only been
Yeah.
out for two like 2 months, 3 months, and it's
Yeah.
already I just feel like that line alone is so bad.
That's
Like,
so
there's
bad.
so many ways she could have said like, even if you want to portray that character as being somebody
Yeah.
who is annoyed at the virus existing, she didn't have to say that. She could have been like,
Yeah.
that he thought that he
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there's a way to make it obvious that it's that character who
Yeah.
thinks that and not me as an author. You know what I
I know.
mean?
Yeah, because like the ending was told from Winnie's point of view, right? So like she is a shitty character,
Yeah.
but like still. Ugh, I
Oh
don't know.
no, but the
Yeah,
book is
that's
in
still.
third person, isn't it?
It's what?
It's in third person, right? From what I
Uh,
remember.
I
Is it?
think it's. Let me see. I want to say it's
I feel
first
like it was
person.
in third person.
Um. Oh yeah, I think it's third person. Oh wait, I
Yeah,
think this epilogue is told from like this
from that
random
guy's
dude.
perspective.
Yeah,
It's
the
from the
random
news
dude that like
article.
finds them in the crawl
Mhm.
space.
So that's like, there's so much that could have been said
I
that
know.
are
So
not.
like, yeah. So why the fuck did he even have to say that then? Like, we don't know this
Exactly.
person.
That's my point. Like, he doesn't
What?
matter to us. Why do we need to know that, like, this, and then the bandana? Like, I can already imagine it. I'm picturing it right now.
Yeah. What?
Like, it's so, that is, oh no, honey. Yeah, she could have just said that it smelled bad and he grabbed a bandana and not said anything about COVID.
Yeah. Cause like what?
Or he pinched his nose. Like, this is also another thing. Why did she have to mention COVID if he's going into that space with people who are not even alive?
Yeah. I
Like, why
know.
is COVID relevant in this moment if it's the place is smelling because people like somebody died in there or something died in there? Like, we
Yeah.
don't need to know about. Like, he could have just pinched his nose
Yeah.
because,
I know.
very strange. Very strange. There's a lot
Very
of choices here that just, mm-mm.
don't add up.
Yeah.
I swear I read the epilogue. I just must have skimmed that part.
No, I mean, I definitely did not even remember the mask spot. Like, I remembered the COVID reference, and I was like, okay.
Isn't it funny how the blurb on the front cover is from Colleen Hoover and it says the wrong family is your new obsession. You've never read anything like this. I
I certainly have not read anything like it.
know, like she's not wrong.
I wonder if these authors, do they actually read the books that they're I haven't read a Colleen Hoover book before, but I'm just like, do these authors actually read these books? Because sometimes I see a blurb after reading a book and I'm like, did we read the same thing?
I know. I don't know. I feel like
That's
they maybe do, but oh my god, what? I just read that.
oh, it better not be. It better not, because this just keeps getting worse and
That would be
worse.
awful. I
This
would,
just keeps getting worse.
yeah, I would protest. I would
Like,
change
if
my
we
rating
tallied
to
up
0.
all the things she has done
That,
in this
yeah,
book, girl.
flat 0.
I'm so sorry to all the people, but I do still think this is a good book to discuss because, like, I would have missed the heart, like, the exact comment that she made in the book, because I
Yeah,
was like, I know she said something about COVID, and I know that it didn't sit right with me, but what exactly was it? And now
yeah.
I know. I'm like, wait,
I'm gonna put that in the review. This is the reason for the 1 star.
wait,
Jeez. Well, that's
wait.
shitty.
Not everybody talking about how she had a fever and she was coughing.
I know what?
No, absolutely not. Guys, let's just pretend that this was for the sake of the plot, because I'm getting even more irritated about this book.
I
I'm like,
know.
0.5 rating.
I know.
This is wild. Yeah, she did die of plot convenience, but I think that Turn Fisher probably isn't gonna be like, oh yeah, if you see the lines there, I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
You know what?
The book
Oh
was
yeah,
something else.
the whole family had the stomach bug. Was it caused by COVID? I know, was that like was she trying to say like they all had COVID or something? Like that was the stomach bug?
I just like even thinking about the COVID reference, because when COVID first hit, like in March last year,
Yeah.
like I was like my job, like we had like a short break, and then they were all like, okay, you all have to come back no matter what. And it
Yeah.
was like being around people who, like, because I worked for the city, so I had to be around a lot of different people all the time.
Yeah.
And so, like, the fear, like, it's not just like, oh, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just something that people are just being, overly, like, this is a big deal. So for her to
Yeah.
just say that, like, on the line like that, when people are literally dying everywhere,
Yeah.
girl,
That's so messed up.
it's just
Yeah.
wild.
Jeez.
At least we get to all discuss it. So
I
I'm like,
was gonna say, so final thoughts, 1 star.
yeah, I'm definitely keeping my 1 star, and I this is definitely a book that I'm interested to see what other people who enjoyed The Wives will think of this book, because there's just so much in it, like so much that even like I missed even after restarting the book so many times, like I still missed.
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting. I also think that like conversations around this book are definitely gonna have have some sort of sensitivity to them, because there's so many different things that Taryn Fisher did wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Wow, what a hot mess of a book. So, wow. So I think we're going to wrap this up here. Um,
Mhm.
even though like this book was so terrible and so awful, like it's still kind of fun to like roast it and just to like
Yeah.
have those conversations about like, yeah, like what is, okay to do in books and what is
Mhm.
just kind of like not
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
Just feels a little icky. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much to everyone who has joined us for this live show. Thanks for hanging out. I'm sorry the book was so awful, and to those of you that actually finished and read the whole thing, like hats off to you. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you so much to Chanelle for being on.
Thank
I
you for
appreciate
having
it. Yeah, and if you didn't know, I have a link down below to Chanelle's channel if you want to go check it out. I highly recommend going and subscribing, especially if you love like not only book content but like movie content. Like she does it all. So yeah, so thank you so much for hanging out with us for this last hour, and I will see you guys soon later with some more stuff. So thank you.
Bye.